Well, you have to ask yourself whether it's delivered. I suppose that's the point, and has it delivered a fair and equal distribution of goods? No, actually, we still have 20% of the world's population earning 2% of the income, 1 billion people living on less than $1 a day, and even in the richer nations, more inequality than we had 20 years ago, so it's not making the world any fairer. We know, we hardly need asking really, that it's not succeeding in its own terms. What we've seen in the last year has shown how unstable that growth-based system is, and there's a very strong case to say that instability is because we were so hooked on growth that we expanded debt and credit to keep the growth going, and then as we expanded it, we needed all these complex financial instruments, and they went unstable, and then the thing collapsed. So that instability is built into the dynamic of growth. And then perhaps most importantly, is that we have some very hard-hitting ecological limits. Climate change is only one of them, and we're not making progress towards those limits. We're not getting close to making progress towards those limits. We're going in the wrong direction too fast, and growth is driving us there. So we need to think about that as a set of issues that is driven by this one conception of how the economy works, based on ever-increasing incomes. Well, the thing that I didn't summarise so much in the talk, but is in the report and the book, is that we, this need to invest in different kinds of technologies, different kinds of infrastructures, a more social sense of space and public goods, the ability to connect ourselves again to each other and to across time to different generations. And that huge need to restructure the way the economy works, to allow us to think about a different system, is really important. But these three things that I sort of mentioned, because as you said, there's this call, what can I do on Monday type of call. And my response, there are all sorts of things, lots of policies, lots of them which have been talked about already, lots with a degree of precedence in one place or another that you can bring back to the table and say, let's start making sure, for example, that our tax system works to the best effect, that we're thinking about inequality in the right way, that we're not encouraging adverse consumerism, that we're protecting social spaces, all of the things that we know are there. But the three, that you can start actually not just on Monday, but right now, are curiosity, rage, and hope were my three starters for the day. Curiosity is at the heart of it. Why do things have to work like this? Is there some other way they could work? Why are human beings the way they are? Why are they behaving the way they are in the system? Why is the economy structured in this very perverse way where it has to rely on continual growth? And what could we do differently? Rage, because when you start to ask some of those questions, you are driven to some pretty fundamental things like the greed of speculators, the intransigence of politicians, perhaps even our own responses as being somehow inadequate to the task. Rage is that sort of sense of railing against the machine. It's Dylan Thomas. Do not go gently into that good night. Rage against the dying of the light. It's that sense of the transformational power of rage that you should be feeling aggrieved. You should be doing something. We should be changing our systems, and we should be engaging in that at a deeply emotional level. But admittedly, rage can sometimes be destructive as well. So you have to think about that in a transformational way, and you have to align it with a sense of hope. So hope is the third sort of quality. And I think it's a question when you're faced with so many impossibility theorems, you're saying, what am I going to do here? Am I going to run away and find a nice, comfortable life in a croft on a hillside somewhere far above the rising sea levels, or am I going to think of myself as part of a vision of society in the future? And that, almost an act of faith, but it is quite clear that hope matters. The biggest argument in favour of economic growth is actually that it suggests a sense of social progress, somewhere to go, a hope for the future. And it's also the biggest argument against it, because that vision of social progress is broken. So we need to retain a sense of hope in a positive vision of the world, but we need to build that in things that really matter, in a proper sense of flourishing as human beings in a new vision of prosperity. And sitting there in that room in the session before me, with those sorts of discussions of community action groups that are really trying to make a fundamental difference, a sort of informal economy, an informal way of bringing people into society, allowing them to participate, allowing them to flourish. I am full of admiration for those initiatives, not just because it's worthy, but actually because this is one of the building blocks of a different kind of economy, a different kind of society. And although it's been like a sort of Cinderella economy, something happening outside the mainstream, something that's sort of unrecognised, not even given any credit in terms of employing people or improving community, and that has to be overturned, really, because actually what this sector is, what this informal sector is the basis for thinking about society differently, for doing things a different way, and allowing people to prosper. And every single day that there are people out there doing that, they are sort of engaged in transformation, and transformation is